Hey Monochromes, welcome to the first Chordal lesson on my YouTube channel. I'm very excited about this series. If you're new here, you should know that I have my online guitar school called the Chords program. And it's a program where I take any kinds of intermediate guitar players and bring them to their goal of becoming chords masters. From A to Z, step by step. But it's not always open for enrollment, so you can click the first link on the description box to get notified about it. On this series, I will teach you anything related to chords, so intervals, chord progressions, inversions, or any idea that comes to my mind. There's not a clear line to follow like my program, but you will be able to be inspired and learn new things weekly on my channel and for free. So it's very exciting. The first lesson is my own take on how to voice chords for ambient guitar. And the bass is not very different from any player in the genre out there, but I have a little twist that is very important to me and I want to share it with you. So the very first bass chord for ambient guitar, the most effective that you can play, is the spread triad. So for example, on C major, it would be C, G, and E. Like this. And it's called a spread triad because we have the third spread on top of the voicing. So we've got the fifth interval at the bottom, and it's a very empty interval. And we've got the third, which is a very rich interval, spread one octave higher, like this. That's why this chord is so effective in the ambient guitar genre, because you've got room for the reverbs and the delays to take space inside of them. So it's a very effective chord. But this is not as effective everywhere on the fretboard, and that's where my input comes in, and it comes from my learning of the keyboards. On the piano, we cannot play any chord that we want in any octave, and for that we need a little bit of knowledge on harmonics. So let's say that I pick this low C note. What makes this note C at this particular octave is the mixture of all the harmonics inside the note. So on this C, we got a little bit of C harmonics, G harmonics, E, and even B flat on the upper harmonics. And that's what makes this C at this octave. So the lower the note, the more room the harmonics have to develop in the upper range, okay? So that's why when we play too many low notes, it gets muddy, because there is just too much harmonic context happening. So if I were to play a C major 7 chord, it sounds too muddy, but if I play it on the medium region, it sounds good, okay? And if I wanted to play a C major chord on the upper region, it's good, but it's a little tiny and plain, because when the notes are high, they have less room to develop their harmonics. So we have to give them a little push at the top. So the principle is, at the low notes, we are going to strip down some notes to get the essential. So if I were to play this C note, I could add the E right there, instead of picking a chord like this that don't work. Or a spread triad, like this. On the medium, we can keep the same voicings, they all work. And on the upper regions, we have to give more extensions to our chords, so there's more harmonic context happening. Something like this. So on the fretboard, I like to see it as 3 stages or 3 regions or 3 levels of the fretboard where I'm going to voice my chords. So if I want to get a low note on it, I'm not going to play in E major, for example, the whole open chord like this, because that would get too muddy for the reasons that we have stated. So for low chords, I am playing only the root and the third notes, which are the essentials to get your chord. So on E major, it would be the low 6th E string and the G sharp on the 3rd string. On the middle region of the fretboard, I would play the spread triad or ambient guitar chord as it is. Very effective. But on the upper region of the fretboard, I have to give my chords more extensions because we have less harmonics to develop because it's already very high. So we have to give content, harmonic content to our chords right there. So I could play a E major 7 or maybe a E major 9 or maybe a very more dissonant kind of chord with upper extensions like a 13. So we have a lot of content on our chords in the upper region. If I were to play that same spread triad, but on the upper octave, that's a little poor and plain. It needs a little bit more harmonic context to it. Maybe a little 7th or something, okay? So when you use those 3 rules for the regions, it's going to get a lot clearer when you are going to loop in an ambient guitar context. So I will loop those 3 kinds of chords so you can hear how clear it is. So I think it's a lot clearer like this. So this was my 3 stages of the fretboard rule. If you still don't know some upper extensions to play in the upper region of your fretboard, don't worry, I'm going to give you a lot of ideas in the next weeks on my channel. And if you're lucky enough to get the Chords program opened in the moment while you are watching this video, maybe you can give it a shot and see if you are interested. So that's it for this lesson. If you are new here, please subscribe to my channel to keep track of the next lessons and be inspired with my original music, my pedal tips, and all the good stuff on my channel. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and until next time, I say au revoir.